Second Cup is brought to you by Roswell Park Comprehensive Care Center.
Hello, good morning. It's 8 o'clock on this sort of a Thursday. Glad you're with us.
Friday Junior.
Welcome to Second Cup.
Good morning. Happy to be here with everyone today. A lot to chat about today.
Yeah, this is one of those days where you're like, holy cow, it's like your head is spinning and there's so much going on.
There's a lot going on in like every sector.
Right.
You got sports going on. You got politics going on.
You got weather. To Mark's point, who ordered this weather? I don't know.
Dude.
Somebody who's really negative and like...
Like, what's going on here? I mean, not only the rain, but at least if it were warmer, even like those storms that rolled through, we didn't see like, crazy damage or anything.
Right.
I love a good thunderstorm.
Was there thunder last night?
No, just the one that we had like earlier.
Oh, okay.
That one was cool. But now we have this like really cold rain and it's nasty
gross.
and gross. I mean, look at the 7-day here. Memorial Day, if you're off on Monday, it looks like the best day that we got. But every other day, there's rain.
I don't know what is going on here. The Memorial Day weekend is typically the unofficial start of summer.
Not here.
No, seriously. I mean, we're in the mid to low 60s by the middle of the week.
Yuck.
That's awful. And what Aaron was saying is that we are well below average for this time of year.
Like 10 degrees below average.
Just like my mom freezing my tootsies off.
Yeah.
Which is weird because she's like me. She's never cold.
Oh, I'm always freezing. And I really just cling to this time of year because I'm like, okay, it's warm, it's not snowing, but like hopefully we can finally start to experience some nice weather here soon.
Yeah, I'm hopeful. Things will change hopefully sooner than later. Aaron showed us that long range forecast a couple of days ago, and it looked like until June 1st, we would be in this below average pattern.
Spring has not been our friend this year. I prefer spring to winter, but the start of spring was pretty miserable. Middle of spring has been rainy and gross, so hopefully summer can provide some relief.
I love what Peter's saying. Whoever ordered this weather, hopefully, I hope they kept a receipt for return.
Yeah, we're going to be going back.
Mary says, wonder if this is a sign of a cooler summer. Aaron was saying no. Aaron was saying that all indications are that this is going to be a really warm, above average summer.
Ooh.
So that'll be interesting. Yes, girl, I know.
Mother Nature.
She needs her Zoloft.
We need to get her back regulated. Make sure that she's in a good mood for us.
Check her in the meantime. Kelsey, good morning to you. Currently having to convince Nora we can't be a cheetah girl at pre-K and growl at our friends all day. This is mom life.
She can watch the Cheetah Girls, though, and she can sing the songs.
So funny. I love that. Noreen, so great. Need the sunshine. Bean soup on the stove now. Ooh, that sounds delicious.
I want to know how they broke that news to Kelsey. Like, hey, just want to let you know, Nora's been growling at all the kids. I made scones today.
Delicious.
It's good baking weather. Be inside and get in the kitchen and soup, scones, something nice and warm.
Just a little bit longer. The good news is that if you're running on Sunday in the marathon or the half marathon, you'll have ideal running conditions.
Yeah, I mean, who wants to run in the heat, right? Everyone likes nice, cooler weather when it comes time to be outside for 26.2 miles. So it's better weather. Hopefully they don't get too wet out there.
Better weather.
A long time to be running. So good luck to anyone running the marathon. If you know anyone that's going to be out there, or the half marathon, or the diaper dash.
The diaper dash.
Big old weekend.
After the half marathon, you might be treating yourself to a glass of wine, right? How about where you get it from possibly changing? The reality is that with a new bill being proposed, wine in New York State could be sold in grocery stores. 75% of New Yorkers support allowing wine in grocery stores, according to a new Siena College poll. Can we just go back to that really quick? 80% of New Yorkers would still shop, though, at their local liquor stores.
So that's the interesting point here. And people are saying, look, we want the convenience. We want to be able to go to a Wegmans, a Tops, and be able to get a bottle of wine there. But on any given day or maybe another day, they might also go and visit their local liquor store so they can kind of be the best of both worlds and everyone can win here. But I think the liquor stores are still nervous about their bottom line because, I mean, we're talking about small businesses here that are going to see fewer sales possibly if this goes through.
Now, this is just for wine, though, not necessarily for liquor. So obviously, they would still be in business, though wine, I'm sure, a huge part of their business.
If you go into any of the liquor stores around, I mean, the wine selection is huge, right? They have all the different countries when you go in there. So it's really interesting to see. And they're two different bills, too. There's the bill that says, hey, let's just get wine in the grocery stores, flat out. And then Senator George Borrello introduced a bill that was like, okay, what if it was just wine made in New York State that could be sold in the grocery stores? That way, you're feeding back into local businesses, you're keeping it in New York State. So those are
maybe
both
a win-win.
Yeah, those are both in committee. So we have to see which one, if any, go through. But it seems like people really want this.
New Yorkers support it. Carol says wine is already sold in Florida in grocery stores. Peter says I'd be getting my wine at my wineries. Fair enough. Shirley, good morning to you. Grocery stores can carry the variety that liquor stores can. I assume that you're saying cannot or can't carry the variety that liquor stores can?
One of them can't.
Right. Mark, like I said the last time we talked about, this store should only be New York wine. So that's to the point of the Borrello bill. And then Shirley says grocery stores cannot carry the variety that liquor stores can. Understood.
Which is a reason why those liquor stores still have, a leg up, if you will, and that people will still hopefully pay them a visit. But I gotta say, go into the store. I'm in and out of grocery stores all the time. If I could just be checking out at one place, grab a bottle of wine with everything I need for dinner, that would be really nice.
When I was in St. Augustine over the fall, back probably I think October or so, St. Augustine, Florida, we were having some wine on the beach, and
that sounds so nice.
It was beautiful. It was so nice. But we went to like a Winn-Dixie, and it had a wine store attached to the grocery store. And like you had to literally, even though it was legal to sell in the grocery store, you literally had to leave the grocery store to go out one door into another door on another side of the store to get into the liquor store.
Interesting. I mean, it's similar to how they're outside of Wegmans usually. You can find one right there, like the one on Amherst Street. It's literally
which is not owned by Wegmans.
Separate.
But
right there.
Right.
People are okay with this whole idea of it being New York State wine.
Yeah, I like that.
Marguerite says it's a good compromise. Anita says that convenience is nice. I agree.
Felice is making her own wine these days.
What?
Felice, when are you dropping some off? What kind of wine are you making is the better question. Okay, making wine is so cool.
It's also very difficult.
It's
and
very
takes
laborious.
A lot of patience.
Labor intensive. One of the things that I wanted for Hanukkah / Christmas many, many years ago, probably, 5 or 6 years ago, was a winemaking kit. I was really into it. And I still, I think it's a fascinating process because you've got to juice everything, let it ferment, add the chemicals. I mean, like, it is science. It's very cool. But it was disgusting. It was so gross.
You put the work in there. You put the elbow grease and you can taste it.
It was so bad. I mean,
Was it sour?
We made apple wine. So we juiced the wine, juiced the apples. I mean, like pounds and pounds and pounds of apples, let it sit and ferment and, added all the chemicals and did all the things that you were supposed to do. And I'm telling you, I was so excited about this. And I was like, oh, this is awful.
Not at all what we
it was
thought.
terrible.
You should give it another try. Maybe try a different one.
Like some grapes or something.
Yeah, you need to try like a good red. I feel like reds are really hard to mess up.
Well, and I love a good red wine. Like give me an oak barreled
Beautiful
Cabernet
Pinot,
or Merlot or
something.
Syrah.
Everyone's got people who like to make wine at home who are doing a good job at it. Interesting.
Noreen. Okay, Noreen, share the wealth.
Right. Police, share the wealth.
Right. Howard says, my uncle made his own wine, dandelion, and also made brandies. Ooh, a very long process, and if it doesn't taste good, work done, thrown in the trash. Yep, It was gross. Jeanette, I'm glad you tested it out for us. Sounds like something I would screw up. It's a super fun process.
Yeah.
And what's so interesting? There are like all of these stores that specialize in craft beer and winemaking. So like you could ferment your own beer or you could make your own wine. So there's a store, I think it's on, is it Sheridan? I think it is Sheridan. Sheridan and maybe Military, or Sheridan and Elmwood over in the town of Tonawanda area. And you know who owns the store?
Who?
Former Niagara Falls Mayor Paul Deister.
Oh, really?
Yes. I
Interesting.
couldn't believe it. I walked
He
in
was there?
Yes. And he's like a tall guy.
Very tall man.
And so I walk in there, I'm like, oh my God. Hello, Mayor Deister. Like, how are you? It was so
Merging
funny.
of worlds.
Seriously. Felice says, I'll bring you some, but I am not responsible for anything. Felice, come find us. 7 Broadcast Plaza.
Drink responsibly, but bring it on down. Someone asked if I
Is it
bring,
good or is it bad?
Well, I
What do
guess
you
we'll
mean by
find
that
out.
comment, Felice?
Not responsible for how much is consumed, I'm assuming.
Oh, okay.
Someone asked if I share my treats with the second cuppies. I don't make enough. By the time anyone even comes to the newsroom around 10 o'clock, usually Aaron Minkowski's had all of them.
His
See if I can pull up.
only priority is food.
I mean, when the scones are good. It's on my Instagram story. I'll see if I can pull
It
it,
is
up.
really good. It's called the Keg Shop, Mark says. Yes, Sheridan and Military. Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
that's the
Okay,
place
so
you went to?
Yeah, that's exactly it. I couldn't believe it. I was like, the mayor likes wine. I love this. Second cup winemaking class. Yes, let's do it.
Okay, if you pull me in, I can show my, what's it called? John. Oh, yeah. Shameless plug.
Follow Taylor on Instagram. They were
Okay.
really good.
Those are my scones, you guys.
Oh, they were sweet potato?
Sweet potato. You didn't taste the sweet potato?
No.
There's little chunks of sweet potato in there.
Oh, I thought that was like brown sugar.
No, the brown sugar was the icing.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a little, that's like a chunk of sweet potato right there.
Wow.
So healthy, kind of, not really.
They were delicious. I will say that.
My 11th bake of the year,
The brown sugar made it.
100%.
Yeah, it was really good.
So I'm going to have to start mass baking that. Oh, sorry. I got to start baking more so I have enough for the cuppies. Sorry, guys.
Felice says, if you love red wine, you'll love our wine. The barrel's under lock and key. Not
Ooh.
joking. Okay, Felice, I'm not joking either. Like, bring us, help a girl out.
Can we make a trade? I'll bring in a baked good.
Felice, do you want to come join? Wouldn't that be so fun? Like a second cup with Felice and her son talking about wine.
How they make
making?
wine?
Yeah. Do you want to be on second cup, Felice?
I'm down for that. Shirley, thank you. Ooh, Sarah's inspired. I'll send you the recipe,
that.
girl. Let me know. It was pretty easy. The longest part was waiting for the sweet potatoes to cool. You just butter in a pan, sweet potatoes, brown sugar, get them all caramelized, let them cool. You make the batter for the scones. No eggs involved.
Wow, because you were going to use that for your price tracker.
And then I didn't even have to use any eggs. It's really like kind of gross, flaky dough, but you just kind of have to like put it all together. And then, yeah, it baked for like 20 minutes. Done.
That's it?
Yeah, 20 minutes.
Wow. Howard says sweets and liquor don't go together. Must be savory. I really, these were
I
kind of
disagree.
savory.
A little bit. It's the sweet potato. I mean, they were pretty sweet. The brown sugar icing, good stuff,
Yeah.
but it wasn't like an overpowering
No.
kind of sweet.
Oh, okay. Felice says it's her husband, not her son.
Oh,
Don't they all, Felice? Please, we'd love to have you on. That would be such a cool segment. That would
that
be
is
so
very
fun.
cool. I love that you guys do that.
We could even taste it. Just don't tell our bosses.
They're not. It's okay.
Peter says, and Ed, if you're into red wine, then you'd love UB Red 41. Okay, cool. Felice, my father-in-law used to yell at me in Sicilian when I'd go to when I'd give the vino away. Now I know why.
Oh,
Yes. Oh my God, we could have a wine and cheese pairing. I love this for us.
I could bring in some chocolate as well.
Okay, let's do it.
I think we're manifesting something beautiful.
Felice, you know where to find me. Johnny with a body is going to put my phone number up. Be in touch, girl. I'm just trying to
love
mooch
this.
some wine here.
Just trying to mooch here.
Right.
No shame.
Let's talk about this too. How cool would this be if you like to drink some wine and you have an extra weekend day to do it?
3-day weekend. What if that was your reality every single week?
That would be kind of cool.
You go to work 4 days and then you're off for 3 days. That's what state employees might be getting soon if this bill goes through.
Okay, so what do you make of this 4-day work week possibility for state workers? This is state workers only. But for a lot of the people who already have a 4-day work week in places like D'Youville College, D'Youville University, they're saying that this has actually been a benefit to their community.
They do say, though, it just has to come with planning. You have to be prepared for people to be there different hours, and you have to be prepared to get all that work done in that 4-day stint, and you have those extra days off. But they say it's like brought new life to their employees, to the entire university.
Felice says, I'm retired, but when I was younger, I was in college full-time, 3 jobs, loved the overtime. Well, and so that's the biggest question here, right? So if you are working now 4 days a week, are you working 4 10s or are you still working 8-hour
hours.
days and just losing that extra day's pay?
Interesting.
I wonder, you know, and I also wonder if you could pick your own day off.
Because you want a Wednesday.
I love a good 3-day weekend.
3-day weekend is great. 3 days in a row because you know what? That first day, you're like, okay, let me get some stuff done.
Right.
That second day, you party hard. That last day, you recover and then you're back.
Sure, I agree, 100%. But also a Wednesday off goes such a long way.
I think it's the stretch. It's the stretch of 5 days in a row of working is always really tough. So you're like, okay, it's just that grind. You know, you're halfway through the week and you're like, there's so much left. But if you broke it up,
Right. It's like 2 and 2. It's really not that difficult.
maybe a little easier.
Jeanette says 3-day weekends would be amazing for mental health.
I mean, who here is burnt out, right? I
Everyone.
mean, so many people talk about burnout, and we've talked about it a lot more, which is great
Yeah.
because it destigmatizes it, and we can all be, you know, more real about what we're going
Welcome
through.
to 2025.
Exactly. So, is that going to help you? Will you feel clearer, and will you be able to do more work if you're not dealing with that burnout?
Well, ask Kelly that question. Do you get more work done in your 10-hour days, Kelly, than you do in your 8-hour days?
and do you feel better when you're waking up on that first day of the week, knowing that you're not day 1 of 4? Do you feel better approaching the week?
Della, good morning to you. This was tried at GM. Is that General Mills or GM?
General Motors.
Several times, never worked. Tell us why it didn't work.
Interesting.
Anita, glad you're with us as always. My favorite schedule as a CEO was Monday, 16 hours, Tuesday, 16 hours, then Wednesday, 8 hours, off Thursday through Sunday.
Oh my gosh.
So a lot of
That's like really kind of concentrating it into the
Yeah.
start of the week, but then you get the end of the week.
Okay, can I ask a question though, Anita? Does that lead to problems? Does that lead to fatigue, burnout? And like in that kind of a setting, is it dangerous to work almost 2 shifts in one day?
Well, because you're probably so tired. You just
Right.
work 16 hours, so you go right back to it. I don't know. Interesting. I love the
Howard says-
perspective, though.
Yeah, Howard says you can get things done that you can't do on the weekend.
And you probably don't have those Sunday scaries as bad. You know what I mean? Like you're coming, you have Saturday, and then it's like, oh my gosh, Sunday's here already.
Well,
What am
especially
I
on
gonna
this
do?
schedule too, right?
Yeah. Because we don't really get, I mean, we get an extended Friday, which is nice, but Sunday, you better be in the bed.
Mm-hmm. Peter agrees with me. Having off on Wednesday breaks up the week. Barbara had worked a 4-day work week for over 30 years, 4 10s. Career was 24/7, 365, so rotated days off and hours. I typically worked 4 a.m. shifts. So, girl, you're right
You're
there
like
with
us.
us.
Yeah.
You know what it's like. Sarah says also would be nice to have a weekday off for appointments and bank hours. Right, exactly.
Della chiming back in. It is General Motors, and they didn't make quota.
Oh, interesting.
I wonder why that is. That's interesting. Okay, so you have workers shifting to that 4-day work week. I'm assuming 4 10-hour days, but they're not able to make the quota without that extra day.
Interesting. So the time maybe was of the essence.
Did they stagger the days? Was, you know, some people Tuesday through Friday, some people Monday through Thursday. That's very interesting.
Anita says it definitely leads to fatigued driving.
Those
talking
16-hour
about-
shifts.
Right, exactly. And you know, like a lot of people in healthcare, for instance, are also working similar shifts. You know, if you are in a position where you know, you're working 12-hour days or you're working 13-hour days. That's just as exhausting.
Oh, and you're on your feet, and you're also, I mean,
Right.
caregiving as well.
It's thinking.
Philly says when you're in healthcare, there are no days off, especially if you're on call. Our mom was our boss; we didn't have days off. I mean, it's it's around the clock, and then you know, a lot of the people who are in that kind of industry, when you are a caregiver, you tend to care. So you're thinking about these people. You're taking a lot of these things
Yeah.
home with you, so it can really weigh on you, and it's really they're heroes.
Well, it's like my sister. So my sister's a nurse, and she works in the area where when you're going into surgery and you're coming out of surgery, it's called PACU. So she works there, but she's working, I think, 13-hour shifts. And so, you know, she'll come home after working 3 days. Exactly. You know, and while it might be nice for some, like by the end of those 3 days, you're exhausted.
Oh, I can only imagine that last day.
Yeah.
Like on hour 10, and you're just like, 2 more hours to go.
So
and
she'll
someone's
come home.
calling you, you're getting buzzed in. Hey, we need you here. We need you to go over there.
Right. She just sleeps for like the first day that she's off.
Have to.
Got to recoup, right?
Whew, yeah, that recovery is serious.
Kelly talking about the work that gets done on the 410s. We do get it done. If we don't, Friday is overtime for her workers. Oh, that's kind of cool. That's a great deal.
Interesting.
We try to avoid because of payroll. That makes sense.
Well, we talked about some of those jobs that have like those summer Fridays too, and people can make their way in the off times of the year and try to find those extra days off where they can.
Megan says those schedules would be difficult for parents, would need childcare, and how would parents bring kids to sports and after school events?
Oh, yeah.
That's a good point.
That is a great point.
And again, this is really only for state workers if this bill were to pass, and it's been proposed a number of times. Connie threw some shade this morning at 5:15 saying and asking, do state workers actually work 5 days as it is? And then I think it was Elizabeth who chimed back in saying, yes, we do.
That was funny.
Cute.
I wonder, though, if maybe this could save some parents some money, though. If you are on that 4-day, obviously you're going to be working a little later, probably if you're doing the 10-hour shifts, you're going to have to figure out a way to pick the kids up. But that Friday, if you don't have to work, then you can help, if you have younger kids at least, or you can pick them up from school. Some give and take. I think it would definitely change the planning, and you have to work around it, but you'd have to weigh those pros and cons.
Well, and so to Anita's point, and to your point here, with those longer shifts, family life definitely does take a hit. Interesting. A great conversation. I love talking about this because all the possibilities are endless.
I know, and we'll have to see. I mean, I'm really interested to see how it unfolds if it really does pass. I mean, state workers impact so many. We were saying earlier, like the DMV. Is that going to change the hours there? Or will you start to notice that? Or will we start to see it?
Tony, we haven't heard from you in a while. Welcome back to
Tony.
Second Cup. Where have you been, man?
4-day marriage.
You know what? Sometimes you just need that 5th day as a break.
Just a day off.
No. Life is blissful when you're married.
You want to talk about tushes and pushing them?
Let's talk about
that Tush Push. It is a controversial play. The question yesterday was, will it remain legal to do the Tush Push in the NFL? And it will. So it passes. There were a lot of teams that voted against the Tush Push, one of them being the Buffalo Bills. But at the end of the day, the Tush Push stays alive, and it's a play that teams are able to do going into the year. Sean McDermott was a big, most outspoken coach against the Tush
he was
Push.
an opponent of it.
Because of the health and safety concerns.
You're sending these guys, Josh Allen in particular in some cases, into a crowd of other big hulking men.
Our MVP, right? The guy that we really want to keep safe. You're throwing him head first into a bunch of 300-pound guys. It can be scary.
And you don't want him to get hurt. Anita, are you in favor of the Tush Push, or do you want it to kind of die down? Felice says the NFL needs to worry about these men who have underdiagnosed or undiagnosed CTE and nasty and illegal hits. You're kind of concerned about them. The Eagles love the Tush Push.
They sure do. And then took them all the way to the Super Bowl, and they won that. I don't know. Was it 22 teams that voted against?
Yeah, 24 passed, or they needed. They needed 20. Yes,
they needed 24 to outlaw it, but they only had 22.
Marguerite says, I'm so afraid Josh is going to get hurt.
He's a big guy. They only really do it with quarterbacks like Josh.
Right.
Josh, 6'5", 2-something.
But we just need him in a bubble.
I know. We need him to never be hurt ever.
Keep that man safe. Felice says it's a push through. It's not a bam hit, though. Okay, fair enough. But what about his neck? You don't want his neck to get hurt, right?
Well, it's kind of like tug of war, but the opposite. Instead of everybody pulling opposite ways, everyone's pushing the same way. So it's, do we have more power pushing Josh, or do they have more power pushing against? And it goes well most of the time. I mean, I feel like, that 4th and 1, 4th and inches situation, usually we can get it with the Tush Push. I wonder if we'll keep doing it despite Sean McDermott being so against it.
Interesting take. Kelly says, I like that Jason Kelsey advocated for keeping it.
I mean, he was one of they really kind of originated it, and him being the center, he was the pushing force between for the Tush Push.
Howard, I'm not going to find any fault in what you're saying. I'm here for it, Howard. I'm right there.
Touching tushies.
We never want our guys to get hurt. I know, exactly. Felicio saying he takes too many chances. I cringe and then exhale. Yeah.
Yeah, he does that all the time, too. He's he's that kind of guy who's going to take the risk for the team.
How about this? Speaking of passage, the bill that passed this morning in the Senate, that big, beautiful bill, what President Trump is calling it, has
BBB.
passed in the Senate this morning, and it passed by literally one vote. I think it was 215 to 214. And it was interesting to see how this all comes to fruition. And what this would do was cut taxes for some and would also now require work, volunteer, and education for some people who are on Medicaid.
It was a really interesting process to watch play out this morning. When you have these overnight votes, you have these politicians who are staying up into the night, and then you see it happen and play out in real time. It's interesting to watch because there were votes to possibly pull it back and make some amendments last minute, but then that got canceled, and then all of a sudden, boom, the bill is through the House and moves on to the Senate.
Right. So now it has to go there for a final vote, and if it passes the Senate, it'll be passed into law, likely signed by the president.
But the impact here is really big. I mean, think about how many people you know that use Medicaid,
right,
or how many people that are going to be impacted by this. If it does get passed and it ultimately signed by the president, it would make so many changes to Medicaid and what you have to do to keep getting that care.
What was so interesting to me is how this all came about. So we're watching this all morning long, and we are, bringing you updates throughout the 6 a.m. hour because they were working overnight to get this done. What we found was that last minute slim margin of a vote. Right. And then it passes. So we're keeping you on the air. We see this at I don't know, what was it, 6:55, and then we're, just kind of blowing through this, ad-libbing our way through, and then this happens. Watch.
215, the nays are 214, with one answering present. The bill is passed.
Literally with seconds left in the show, we hear from Speaker Mike Johnson, and he passes the bill.
Marguerite says they were probably tired and ready to get it over with. They also worked into Sunday night into Monday. So this has been, debated for hours on end. You have a lot of Democrats voicing concern about this. When we were live early in the morning, Representative Hakeem Jeffries was on the floor, debating, arguing against this bill. And then ultimately you see, a lot of cheering and clapping going on there. It did get passed. There are still, 2 more hurdles for it to cross, but that impact is interesting to think about.
Okay, so the Medicaid impact is what's going to be most important here, I think, for a lot of people. There are a lot of seniors on Medicaid, is what Kim says. Mark says it's going to be bad for low-income people with SNAP and Medicaid. Lynn chiming in here saying it's very scary, especially if it passes, because of the health care that so many patients will not be covered. And then Barbara chiming in here, my concern is impact to Medicaid and the impact that would be on hospitals and nursing homes. I've been routinely emailing her rep, Claudia Tenney, with no direct response. What are you telling her, Barbara? What are you emailing her?
Yeah, what are you saying?
And, if we could connect you with her, is there something that you would want to say to her? Anita, good morning. I've said that to you 3 times already. I don't know why I'm repeating myself. I'm still lost with all the Medicare options and changes, so much to know and so much to consider. And keep in mind, this is just for Medicaid.
Right.
Felice, reps who campaigned and promised they wouldn't vote for this to pass, liars. It's disgusting.
Lori says, what are we to do? And this is, there's still so many more things that have to happen, but it does raise those kind of questions. Okay, these requirements, and you have to possibly be working or educating yourself or doing all these things in order to get Medicaid. How is that going to change people's lives? What are we to do?
Marguerite says some hospitals might have to close as a result of this. And then this is interesting. Felice says they will literally wheel you out of a hospital or a nursing home and call you a taxi if you can't pay. I've seen this happen. Wow. But they have a legal responsibility to take care of you even if you can't pay. Right? Isn't that what hospitals do? Anita says it's a bombardment of requirements and options. Right. So essentially, if you are on Medicaid, in some cases, if not all, you would have to work, volunteer for your community, or take some sort of educational class. And I wondered about that this morning, too. If the people who are on Medicaid have worked their entire lives to get to where they are and are now on Medicaid, what is that requirement for them? And is there a look back period?
Well,
you know what I mean?
Let's say you're going through something, you get surgery or something, and then, you're working through and Medicaid's helping you and you're still recovering from that, but you still have to get your volunteer hours in. Feels like a lot of pressure.
Right. It's interesting to say the least. Kim, though, kind of putting the period at the end of the sentence for us, saying it's bull, especially for seniors.
We'll have to see what happens there, and we'll keep following it. It was really interesting to watch it all play out this morning, to see that debate happen and see it pass by one vote in the House. We'll see what happens in the Senate.
Okay, I just want to circle back quickly to Barbara's comment about Claudia Tenney. Asked her what the impact will be to a rural hospital, since it's my understanding that's how hospitals and nursing homes get paid. Barbara, I'd love to connect you with the representative. So if we can, we'll ask her this question, knowing that you are looking for answers, and we'll follow up. We'll bring you the answer once we get it.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for being with us on a Thursday. We appreciate you.
All right. We'll see you guys later. I'm at Beyonce this weekend, so I'll see y'all next week.
Have a great day.